My name is Elena Boyd, and I am a extension assistant in value-added marketing with the Center for Profitable Agriculture. You have been receiving emails from me about this webinar series. This is our first session for our Daring to Learn, and my coworker Megan Leffew is actually going to be presenting today. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Megan, and she can get us started.
Great. It is such a pleasure to be here with you to help kick off our Daring to Learn webinar series. We hope to do this at least through the remainder of 2023 and hopefully be able to continue that on if we have a need from folks and participation. So we're really excited to have you with us here today, and thank you for introducing yourself a little bit in the chat box if you are on joining us on a computer and have the ability to do that. I will try to monitor that a little bit as we go along. I guess it's a question and answer box. We're using the webinar version of Zoom today, so the functionality is a little bit different, but please feel free to enter questions or comments in that Q&A box throughout the session, and I will try to monitor and answer those either as we go or as we get toward the end. So I am an extension specialist in value-added agriculture marketing, and have worked for Extension in Tennessee for almost 20 years and have seen a lot of different things. So what I want to talk to you about today are some of the key concepts for successful marketing. And these are things that are fundamentals that if you understand these concepts, then it will help you in building your marketing plan to increase your potential for success. So these are really some fundamental things that I want you to focus on in the beginning when you're thinking about developing and marketing a product. So we're going to talk about the definition of marketing. There's a lot of different thoughts about what that is, and there's a definition that I really like that I think embodies the whole of marketing. And then the importance of marketing. Sometimes it's not the most fun thing for folks to do. A lot of times we like producing what we produce, and that's really important, but we've got to be able to market that and generate a profit, at least to support our hobby, if nothing else, but hopefully to generate some income for our business. Then I'm going to get into those key concepts, those marketing fundamentals that I feel like will help you in developing a successful marketing plan. Then we'll provide an overview of some additional resources where you can go to find information to help you in the next stage of your business. And we'll make sure that we spend some time answering any lingering questions at the end. I think at this time, Elena, if it's okay, I'm going to turn off my video just in case we have folks who are trying to stream in maybe remote places or with some less than desirable internet. And so we'll just kind of look at the slides. But if we need to turn the video back on at some point, we can.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Okay. So this is our plan of action. So let's dive in and talk about how I define marketing and talk about some of the importance behind the different components of that marketing and how that will help to set us up for success. So this definition embodies a lot of different components of marketing. Oftentimes when we think about marketing, we might think about sales or advertising, which are definitely some important parts within marketing, but marketing actually goes beyond that. So marketing is, in this definition, planning and executing a set of objectives to bring buyers and sellers together so that a sale can take place. So there are two verbs in this sentence. We've got to plan first, and then after we plan, then we can execute that plan. So can implement some strategies with the goal of bringing buyers, which is our target audience, key people who are interested in buying our product and willing to buy and able to buy, and sellers, that's you, together so that that sale can take place, and hopefully also create relationships so that continuous sales begin to take place. So when we think about the first part of that definition, the planning piece, a marketing plan really is like a roadmap for your business and for the marketing piece of your business. So when I get ready to go someplace, and I may use this, you may use an online map or the map on my phone or something, but I still take a little look at a map and try to figure out where in the world am I? Where are we starting from? Right. And then the other key component is where do we want to avoid going, and where are we going? And so when we start with a product, we want to take a look at where we are in relation to the factors in the marketplace. So what other products are out there? What is missing in that marketplace that we may be able to supply? Or what is the competition? What are the needs of the consumers out there? We also take a look at things that we want to avoid, right? There might be regulations that make it really hard to do something or offer a certain product for sale, or it make it very costly for sale. Or there might be some other businesses out there that have plenty of supply and have that market kind of sewed up. So those would be some things that we would want to avoid. In our marketing plan, then we also want to set some goals for what we want to accomplish and identify a specific target audience that we are going to try to reach with our marketing strategies. So we take a look at the market, kind of analyze it. We look at our strengths and weaknesses of our own business and the opportunities and threats that are out there in the marketplace, set some goals and a target audience. And then we also develop marketing strategies. So how am I going to get from where I am to meet my goals and to reach that target audience to entice them to make a sale? Additional components of that marketing plan include some strategies to monitor and evaluate how we're doing. Are we making progress toward meeting our goals? If not, can we identify why? Are we doing better than we expected? Are we not doing as well as we expected? So we need to monitor and measure in case something happens. Maybe regulations change. Maybe our marketing message isn't resonating with consumers, or we aren't reaching those consumers like we thought we should. It's really important to have, as part of your plan, some ways to measure that so that we can identify when there's a problem and then circumvent that by making some adjustments to continue working toward our goal and continue toward reaching our target audience. So a marketing plan, that planning piece is really important to kind of set down on paper, taking a look at the market that's out there, developing some strategies and some plans on how to measure our plan. When we think about marketing overall and the importance of marketing in the planning and implementation stage, there's some research that tells us the reasons why businesses fail, and we don't want to be among that group. We don't want our goat dairy business with our soaps and lotions to fail, and so we want to think about these three factors. They call them the 3 M's. The first is money, and we've got to have some money to get a business started. You've got to, in many cases, buy some equipment, buy some ingredients for something, maybe set up a business, structure of some sort. We've got to put some record keeping together. We've got to do this planning, so it's labor involved. We've got to make some initial product and pay to market that product. In the beginning, we don't have any sales, so we've got to pay for that up front. And then we've got to maintain getting cash flow in as we make sales. Hopefully, we may have to supplement that a little bit as we build up our sales in order to pay for expenses coming out. So being able to manage that money and having some capital to start with is important. The second is management. There are lots of pieces of a business, and having some skills and experience to juggle all of those pieces pretty well. Either you or somebody on your team keeping track of all the pieces from business planning and business operations to production to marketing to customer service to dealing with regulatory agencies. All of those things have to keep going at a same time. The third reason that businesses often fail is due to some lacking in their marketing. And sometimes people think, if I build it, they will come, right? If I grow it, raise it, produce it, then these sales will just take place, and I will make a profit and go skipping to the bank. And other times people think, well, I'll go do some marketing, and I have a budget and I'm going to spend some time doing that. But maybe they don't target those marketing messages with the right messages in it to entice a specific customer. Or they go and do some marketing in places where people who are likely to buy it aren't looking. And so really having a plan with that marketing is key, because we can spend a lot of time and money spinning our wheels and doing marketing that isn't effective if we're not careful. So we don't want to make these mistakes, and certainly not on the marketing end. Most people in business have to make a profit, or one of their goals is to be profitable for their business. And to be profitable, our income has to be higher than our expenses. And you're like, well, yes, Megan, I understand that. But how that profitability happens really is a combination of several factors. And many of these have marketing components to them. So the first one is to manage costs. We talked about having money for the capital, for investments of resources that you need in order to produce and market your products. And those things can add up quickly. And sometimes we get excited in the moment and we're going to start a new business or launch a new product. And those costs can get out of hand pretty quickly, especially this day and age. And so being able to keep those costs reasonable as possible is really important. Somebody said once that it's really hard to outrun a bad diet. Right. So if I eat too many calories, it's going to be really hard for me to burn those calories off if I'm not going to, if I don't want to gain weight. And so if my costs are too high, it's really going to be hard to make enough sales in order to cover those. So we've got to manage our costs. We need to manage our production quality and efficiency. We are marketing local products, typically local farm products is our for this audience here, and maybe even particular value-added dairy products, for example. People can find products like that almost anywhere in any store they go into in a lot of cases, but maybe not the local piece. People who are seeking out those local products and interested in paying a premium for them are looking for quality products. So we've got to produce those quality products efficiently, cost-wise, and consistently so that folks will be interested in purchasing those and in building repeat customer sales as well. If I go and buy a steak at the farmer's market and that steak is delicious, I'm likely to go back to that same producer to buy another steak. The next time I go back, if the steak is just kind of okay, then there's enough folks in that business now, I'm probably going to try somebody else's meat the next time. So you've really got to woo your customer over and over again with the quality of products. Another one related to the costs is pricing for profit, and to be able to set a price that builds in a profit, you have to understand what it's costing you to produce and market that product, but you also have to understand your consumers and what they're willing to pay for a product. A lot of time consumers of local products are willing to pay a higher price than other types of product on the marketplace. So how much more are they likely to pay? We don't want to leave money on the table. If they're willing to pay us more than what we're asking for, we need to price according to the value of that product. That price, every time we sell a product, that price is where that income piece comes in our profitability equation of income minus expenses. So being strategic in how we price a product is extremely important because that's where we get that income piece. When you start a new value-added business or launching a new product, you have zero sales, 0 units, 0 income coming in from that business. So it's going to take some time to build up your income and your sales. So we're going to have to really get the word out and get people to start purchasing and build that up over time. That's where we need some extra capital and money to pay expenses while that takes place. But through those initial sales, the real gem to that is to build relationships with consumers. So every consumer that is interested in purchasing your product purchases and then comes back to purchase again. It costs a lot less, some say 3 to 5 times less to keep a customer once you get them in the system than to earn a new customer. So that's really important. The other aspect is to manage risk, and that's oftentimes not a fun thing to think about. All the things that could go wrong, and ways that we can manage that through things like product liability insurance, for example, or for agritourism landowner kind of liability if people are coming to an on-farm retail market or participating in some sort of farm tour. So there's lots of ways to manage risk, thinking about what could go wrong and how we might be able to do some things to prevent things that go wrong from sinking our business. So there's lots of components here that go into play with profitability, and many of these components have factors associated with marketing in them. So we've talked a little bit about the definition of marketing and the importance of marketing and the broad definition, how it affects various parts of our business and requires planning and execution. Let's talk some more about some fundamentals of marketing and some key concepts as you begin to analyze markets and develop a marketing plan, as well as implement marketing strategies. So one of the very, very key concepts for marketing is that marketing is really all about understanding target consumers and who your target ideal consumers are, understanding their needs and preferences and values, and then developing and executing strategies to reach those particular people. So these are kind of your ideal customer. Who are the folks who really have a need and desire for your product, who are you know, this may be 20% of the people who are going to buy 80% of your product and create 80% of your sales. And that's who we need to focus on in the business, is reaching those people, because they will have the most impact for you. And by understanding them, we can then try to figure out, okay, that will impact product characteristics, for example, that will impact the message that we want to portray through our marketing materials. That will influence our price by what they're willing to pay and where we make our product available, as well as how we promote the product and what kind of service that we might provide along with it. So really trying to figure out what does our ideal consumer look like and what's important to them. So where do we start with this market analysis, market plan, and trying to identify that target consumers? Well, first, I encourage you to take a long, hard look in the mirror. That can be kind of scary in my mirror sometimes, and try to assess your resources, your mission, and your goals. So what is it that you have available to help you in bringing some products to consumers, to the market? That might be your farm resources, that might be capital, that might mean your human resources. What skills do you have and people on your team have? And what is it you really want to accomplish by doing this product? That might mean a certain level of income for your family. That might mean a goal to advocate for agriculture or provide, you know, nutritious foods or helpful products out there to interact with the public. You know, what is it that you want to accomplish? And then the sometimes harder part is to quit looking in the mirror and quit thinking about, well, if I were a consumer, I wouldn't pay this for something, or I wouldn't want this product. But to really take on a customer state of mind and think about consumers out there in the marketplace, and research consumers out there in the marketplace and what their needs, values, and preferences are. We're going to break this down. This might look like a lot here in the beginning, but we're going to break each of these 4 pieces down a little bit. So don't get overwhelmed by this. But when folks are interested in marketing a value-added product, you know, for example, that maybe I have a dairy, and there's several ways that I could go with that milk. I could continue selling it through the commodity markets, assuming that's an opportunity for you. I may be able to go through the process of regulations of selling fluid milk or cheese or ice cream or butter or yogurt, or all the many products that can be made from fluid milk. You may be able to make lotions or soaps or commodities or other cosmetic type products. You may be able to sell a pet food or a pet treat product with your milk. So there's lots of opportunities to consider when you're looking at any sort of value-added product. So to figure out, you know, what you want to do, sometimes people were like, well, I have always dreamed of this product, or Grandma's salsa's recipe is the very best, and I want to take that to market. But to increase your potential for success, it's really important to look at the market and say, what does the market need? Is there a need or a want that we can fulfill that isn't already being supplied? And that creates an opportunity in the marketplace, demand for your product, instead of saying, I have this product available and now I have to go and find a place that needs that. So we kind of want to take a market-driven approach versus a supply approach if we can. So that's the model that we're going to talk through here for a little bit. So if we're taking a look at a market driven approach, and sometimes folks come to us and say, we are just thinking about purchasing a farm, or we have inherited some land. We don't even know what to do with it. Take a look at the market out there. Is there a need or a want that your business can fulfill that isn't already, being fulfilled to its potential? What and how much of that is needed or desired? What kind of characteristics of those products are being valued? Why would consumers want to buy that product from a local farmer, for example? And what competition exists? And that may be very broad. For example, in our agritourism operations, folks that want to do a family fun kind of festival or events or several weekends. Well, what is the competition? It's other farms, but it may also be the zoo or the aquarium or the movie theater or the skating rink. So think more broadly about what your competition is. It isn't just other local farms. So that's kind of the first key. Where is there a need that you may be able to fulfill with your business? The second piece then is kind of take a deeper dive and see how close we can get to figure out who is needing or wanting that product. And can we build kind of a picture or a profile of that person that's driving those potential sales and making those purchase decisions and determining what values are there. So understanding, are they of a certain geographic area? Do they have a certain gender or race or ethnicity? Are they of a certain religious affiliation? Are they of a certain income class or family status? Do they have children of a certain age at home, for example? And try to build a picture of who these people are, and then what's important to them. What do they really want out of that product? What is the benefit that they're seeking? They may not be seeking, a local tomato. They may be seeking, just the taste of summer that comes along with local tomatoes that are fresh and local and flavorful and nutritious for their family. There's something beyond the product that they are typically buying, more than just the product itself. They're thinking about what it's going to cost them. So, they're voting with their dollars. What are they willing to pay? Why might they be willing to pay more for your product than others? And that helps us determine how we talk to folks about our product. We need to tell them the benefits that our products can provide within legal limits and claims, of course, and the reason that they should vote with their dollars and purchase from us. We also need to understand about what levels of convenience, where do we need to make this product available, when, what information do we need to provide in order that they can use it, and also in order that they can have the information they need to make that purchase decision. So as much as we can learn about that target audience is really important. That target audience also needs to meet kind of three tests here. A target audience has a need or want that your business can fulfill. It is that audience must be willing to purchase your products and able to purchase your product financially, right? I might have a need or want that I can fill, and I may have the ability to purchase it, but I'm not willing to purchase that product. I may like George Strait's music, and I may be able to buy a ticket to a George Strait concert, but I may be a little too thrifty to pay for a ticket to a stadium concert of George Strait, for example. So in that case, I'm not really the target audience for the concert sales. So your consumers have to meet all of these tests, and they're your first and your best customer, the ones that you need to pay attention to and really try to reach. These are some of those characteristics I mentioned before. The demographic side can include a lot of different characteristics. For example, I talked with a gentleman the other day who's interested in harvesting livestock for in a kosher and halal manner, because that is a need for a group in Middle Tennessee that isn't being met. And so that was that would be one way that we would look if we were doing a market analysis for his business, is taking a look at how many people might be interested in that sort of product, and then what would they be willing to pay, where would they buy that product, and that sort of thing. In what we call the psychographic analysis, that's more about what's important to them, what's their shopping behavior. That might be how much of a certain product do they buy, how often do they buy it, where do they shop? Do they shop at the grocery stores in town? Are they visiting the farmers market? Are they willing to come to an on-farm market? Maybe their attitudes would include, support for local farms, support for farmland and in green space, support for limited waste and sustainability of the environment, for just some examples. So what is it that they value that you could converse with them and create relationships about? And then how do they make decisions? Where are they looking for information, and what information do they need in order to make that purchasing decision? And then we take that information that we learn about what's really important to them for the product. What are they willing to pay and why? Where do they shop, and what level of service do they need, and how do they communicate? And from there, we work to develop some marketing strategies. So we can learn about consumers, about who might be our target audience and what's important to them in several different ways. One of those is by listening online on social media. For example, I'm on Facebook, and I belong to some groups. I Heart Columbia, for example, and Moms of Muletown. And that gives me insight into what questions people are offering up to social media. Folks may ask, where can I find the best goat milk soap, or where can I pick strawberries, or other questions like that. And then people will chime in and give their suggestions and recommendations and reasons why those are their favorite products. Or, oh my goodness, there's no apple orchard around here and I miss that so much. And if 50 people are chiming in, that's the case, we can kind of figure out some trends or some needs for products that might be out there, or characteristics of products and what's important to people. So we can use social media in that way for one example. There are also some studies that we do here in the center in some cases, or are partners with folks in our Department of Agricultural Economics, or some other departments on campus that have done some research about needs for different grape varieties, or consumer preferences for local milk products. We're working with a group now that's looking at doing some research around who buys goat milk soap and products made from goat milk that's not non-food products. And so some of those studies and results are available online. So that's another way to kind of find out some information about consumers, and there's others as well, but I just wanted to mention that. So once we kind of take a look at the market and figure out that there's a need or desire for a product and who might be the target audience, then we need to get our pencils and calculators or our Excel spreadsheet out, for example, and take a market-driven approach to seeing if a profitable market exists. So is there adequate market size and potential share out there for you to generate a profit and meet your goals over time? So is there enough people out there who's going to buy enough product, and then are they going to buy it at a price high enough, and can you produce it at a cost low enough to generate a profit? And if you can't pass this test right here, then we need to back up 20 and punt, right? So can you get your costs down? Are people willing to pay more for it? If not, then we need to maybe look at a different product because that one is not likely to be successful. And you want to make that mistake in a planning stage rather than an implementation stage when a lot of money in an investment of time is underway. We also then need to, once we pass that hurdle and it's like, okay, there's enough folks out there, I think I can sell enough product to enough people at a high enough price that I want to go ahead and keep moving in my evaluation stage. Then we're going to develop some marketing strategies. What does that product really look like? In the end, what messages do I need to incorporate and share with consumers in order to tell them the benefits of my products? It meets their needs of the benefits they're seeking. For example, I can figure out where I'm going to make my product for sale, where I'm going to do advertising or promotion, and what kind of service I need to provide in order to meet the needs of that specific target audience. So again, we're going to match up our marketing strategies to the needs and values of our target consumer. And that's where we get most effective with our marketing strategies. So with our product, we need to think about, what does the customer need or want? How can your product be unique? And some of that goes along with the product characteristics and features itself. That can even go along to packaging, information provided on the packaging, services that you offer, and maybe even some experiences that go along with it. So that can be helpful as well. Product positioning is the image that you want to portray, or the message that you want to portray to customers through their marketing efforts. It's your unique selling proposition. It's the really key, really short thing that you want people to get out of your product by looking at it briefly, and that's consistent through all your marketing efforts. That may be consistent with how you dress or what color shirt you wear to the farmer's market. That maybe it would be consistent through the logo for your farm and the website and the trash can at the on-farm retail market. However, you can be consistent with the positioning is important. Sometimes people will say, I have the best product, and yet I'm selling it at this low price. That is an inconsistent message. It is confusing to customers, and it sounds a little, like you're not being credible. So all of our marketing strategies need to be consistent with this positioning in the marketplace. One thing that I think about with products is the experience economy. And I have an example here for you of what that experience economy may be like. So if we're producing a raw commodity in the marketplace, we typically receive the lowest price for that commodity. So if we're producing apples, we might be able to garner a price of $30 a bushel on for apples in the marketplace on the commodity market. Now we might have some apples that we take, and maybe they're not the prettiest, or maybe they're smaller or something, and but so we can't sell them really well on the commodity market for a very good price. Maybe we decide to make some goods out of those. So we make some apple pies out of those commodities apples, and so we take that bushel of apples and maybe we make 10 pies at $15 a piece, and we have some apple pies for $150. Well, we know that we have some extra ingredients involved and some extra labor involved, but we have penciled that out where we can make a pretty good profit out of that bushel of apples by making pies instead of selling those second apples for which would be much lower than $30 on the commodity market. We can go a step further. We know that consumers will pay more as we go along this continuum. So instead of selling whole pies, maybe we now are doing some food service, and we take that pie and we slice it into 6 or 8 slices there. Let's say they say 6 slices. 10 pies at 6 slices is 60 slices of pie, and we're going to add some caramel on that. And I've lost my numbers here, but we're going to add some caramel and ice cream on top. And now, and so it takes a little more labor, some more ingredients and packaging, but we're going to earn $300 from selling a slice of pie because we have cut it and we've done some more for people. Now we can go further, and research tells us that people are most willing to pay or willing to pay the most for experiences. So we may have a class where we're going to teach 10 people for a $50 ticket to make a pie using our farm fresh apples, and they go home with a pie ready to go in the oven and bake. And through that experience, then those folks are also having this wonderful experience, developing a powerful relationship, and are likely to become even more regular customers of ours, and share our story with others out there. So when we can take our products from a raw commodity up along this chain, we have some opportunities to increase sales and income from that. In many cases, we do need to be aware of regulations and costs involved at each of these turns, and making sure we can be profitable and serve customers well. But the more we can look toward that experience end, that can be helpful to us. When we're thinking about plays for our marketing strategies, how we're going to distribute the product, and that relates to the convenience for folks. So where are your target customers likely to access your product? If you are maybe targeting the soccer mom, a Saturday morning farmers market in the spring and fall may not be very good because they're going to be at the soccer field, but in the summer might be okay if their kids aren't in that sort of activities. If you are targeting consumers that are professionals, perhaps a market or drop-off point in a company parking lot would be appropriate. Or folks may be willing to come out and really want that personal relationship, personal contact right there on the farm. So what is it that your consumers are able to do, and what do they really want will help you figure out maybe where to put your product at. Farmers markets are a great place for beginning folks in many cases because your sales are zero. You're trying to meet your customers, and customers of local products are out there. Now, choosing what farmers market, what day of the week, what time of day, where you're going may be influenced in particular by the specific customers that you're trying to reach. We also need to think about that the days and hours that you make that product available, the farmers market or on-farm retail market, perhaps delivery service or mail service, the aesthetics of wherever you're going to be offering that product for sale, as well as customer comforts, making sure people have an opportunity to have bathrooms available, to find water if they need it, and that sort of thing, and also the opportunity to have some sort of experience, even that if that's visiting with you as the farmer, learning more about the farm. That pricing piece is a part of your marketing strategies that you develop as well. Pricing is part science and part art. So there are some things that we can calculate. We can make some budgets and figure out what we think it's going to cost and to produce and market our products. We can take a look at what other competitors are charging for their products. That gives us kind of a frame of reference. There might be some studies out there that show that consumers are interested in paying a percentage higher for local products, for example. But we can kind of figure out how many products are out there and how many are in demand. But part of it, pricing, is we may have to play around a little bit. So if you take a product to the market, I see this maybe a lot with farm fresh eggs, for example, or blueberries. They tend to go really fast. And if folks are taking products to the market and they're sold out in the first 30 minutes or the first hour, they're probably not charging enough. You know, I would increase that price, and you know, if some people aren't passing those products by because the price is too high, it's probably not high enough, especially if there's a limited supply and there's that high of demand. So we can play around a little bit with price and experiment to see where the sweet spot is for those products. We have a publication about pricing that talks about how to estimate your break-even price, and then looks at some different pricing strategies like markup and everything. So that's a good place to start if you're thinking about pricing products as well. Promotion is a very important marketing strategy, and we're talking about how customers learn about products or services through word of mouth, publicity, social media, advertising, and sampling when possible. Those can be really powerful. Customers of local products are paying in part for the story, and they're investing in your story, and so it's really important that you tell that story. Photos and video is really helpful in doing that. And so investing in some high quality photos can be helpful. Sharing that story through your marketing materials, really working to get out there on social media, determining which social media platform your specific target market uses the most, and then encouraging customers to submit photos and reviews through social media and other things. Depending upon your product, maybe that's Google reviews or Yelp or something there, can be really helpful. The states often have a promotional program for local food products, and Tennessee has the Pick Tennessee Products program. There's a website, an app available where you can put a listing on there. You can get permission to use their logo in your marketing and on your packaging. For example, they have business consultants that develop social media content for their Pick Tennessee products page and other promotional materials and opportunities. So getting LinkedIn and getting to know the people that are in charge of your area of product, where there might be the folks that work with honey or farmers markets or meat or dairy products, can be helpful because they'll think of you when they need an example. It's free to apply online to do that. Make sure you supply detailed information about your product and update that listing often as things change. Now you can even link your social media and provide photos to go on your listing. So if you have an existing listing, check that out. Social media can be very valuable. It can take some time to learn and to utilize. So it's not free in that way, but it can be helpful in communicating and building relationship with consumers and generating new sales as well. Make sure that when there's an opportunity that you create a business page, because there's benefits of that, and that's the purpose of those pages, is to help promote businesses. Post quality content, not all of it sales. We need to tell your story through that. Things about producing your product, about why you do what you do, how you produce your product and why, and how to use your product. Sharing of photos and videos can be really important, and inviting interaction and engagement. There are some interesting social media trends here. Brand authenticity is important. Understanding what matters to your audience and providing information on that. Short videos can be very effective. Simple, clear, engaging messages. Edutainment content. Sometimes funny things happen, and it's okay to post about those on the farm. Making sure to respond to people on social media is important, and involve those who work with you, whether they're paid or volunteers or family on the farm. Email can also be highly effective once you get customers. If you can generate a customer database and contact them directly, that can be very valuable, because they're interested, or at least were once. And if you can get them in some constant communication, that can be helpful. We also want to develop a marketing budget based on your expected sales and the costs of marketing activities. That might be hiring somebody to develop a website or maintain a website. That might be your time and efforts for marketing materials, maybe paying for some photographs. Your marketing budget is going to be higher, when you start off, and it may change as you generate, get some more regular customers. So that's kind of the gist of a market-driven approach to marketing your product and developing a product. Is there a need or want your business can fulfill? Who is that target market? Does a profitable market exist? And then developing strategies and implementing those strategies to reach that specific target audience. So those are really some key fundamentals to marketing your value-added product. We will send these slides out to you as well. So I wanted to include some resources about how you can connect to some of our additional events and to publications and recordings that are out there already, and to some of those market studies. We have publications on lots of different types of products. If you look under the program areas page on our website, you can look at business essentials or marketing fundamentals, or specific product areas like value-added dairy or value-added manufactured food items, for example. So take some time to peruse around there on a rainy day or a lunch break. And always feel free to reach out to Elena, who's developed this series, if you have questions about the series or suggestions for other topics, or to me if I can be of help and try to answer any questions for you. And with that, Elena, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Megan. So thank you guys for participating today. Before we end, we actually have, Megan, do you have that QR code slide?
Oh, yes.
So if you guys can, this evaluation form, this survey, will count for your attendance for today. If any of you folks are working on this for kind of TAEP credit, regardless, if you guys could please scan this QR code and fill that attendance survey out for us, it would help. And just as a reminder, we will have our next session in June on the 13th, featuring David Bilderback with the UT Center of Farm Management. So you guys will get an email after I get this recording for this session up on YouTube that has some of our upcoming speakers and dates when we will meet again. Like Megan said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, but we will get all this information to you guys. So thanks.
And if we see several people are on the phone, Elena will be sending an email with the link in the to the evaluation. So don't miss out on that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a good rest of the day.